Hey, Let's Go Coffee friends.
Hi.
We are starting a podcast.
We are.
And we have both done podcasting before. This is a new podcast for the Let's Go Coffee family. And we just wanted to say hi and introduce ourselves. My name's Mandy. I own Let's Go Coffee.
My name's Pablo, and I'm married to her.
Great. So the reason behind the podcast, why you should listen to it or why you would want to listen to it, would be community, business owners, why we're here, how Let's Go Coffee came to be. And we just want to kind of bring you along for the ride. People have stories. We want our staff to be involved. We want other business owners to be involved. We want people that are regulars to be involved. We want people that love coffee, are gluten-free, whatever that may look like. So we are just going to kind of do an all-encompassing podcast for the Emmaus family, the Lehigh Valley family, eventually Pennsylvania. And if you're joining from another state, congratulations. You have found Let's Go Coffee's podcast.
Fly in, get a cup of coffee.
We'll see you next time you come into Emmaus, Pennsylvania. So
That's right.
That's about it. We're kind of just getting started here, and I'm excited.
Well, most importantly, so you own this business.
I do own this business,
We are
yes.
in the business right now.
We are
Wide
in
shop.
Let's Go Coffee, yes.
Let's Go Coffee. We have our super cool mural back here. We serve coffee. We have gluten-free baked goods, all the things. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, people would love to hear a little bit of the background. If you're here, you're probably wondering, like, how this came to be. And that's what this episode is for, to kind of establish that. And not only establish the podcast, but like the backstory, right? And so I think, if I may ask, I'll chime in here and there because I was there for most of it.
Yeah.
But how did this, I guess, first idea, is that where we start with this?
I guess.
Obviously, that's where it started, right? So what, I don't know, just from your heart, where did this all start?
It could be a long podcast in itself, but I'll try to keep the short version of it. So
In a nutshell.
I think like when you start a business, there's a million details and it's hard to not get too far into those weeds. However, I basically just started this business in with an idea during COVID. I guess we can go back that far. So I really just wanted a good cup of coffee. And I was just kind of thinking one day, I said, man, it'd be so great if Wawa just had a mobile coffee unit and brought it down the street.
Wawa, for those listening, in case you're not from this area,
Yeah.
in case this gets a little bit bigger than we're planning on, it's a gas station, which sounds kind of crazy, but they have great coffee.
They have great coffee. They would be my preferred choice outside of Let's Go Coffee
And
or
food.
Firehouse Coffee, which is where we get our coffee roasted. Anyway,
We'll get to
that. So moving on from that. So I really wanted just like Wawa coffee during COVID. Couldn't even get anything that I really wanted. And I said, wow, that'd be really great. You know how kids have ice cream trucks, can adults have coffee trucks? So I kind of started with that idea. Eventually, that the truck to trailer option was a debate. You know, what do you do? We ended up going with a trailer. And so one day, actually December 27th, 2022.
You remember the date exactly?
I do. It was 2 days after Christmas. My dad picked up myself and Pablo and was like, we're going to go buy a trailer today.
No. That's not what happened, actually, at all. I was told we're going on this little preliminary scout.
True. Yeah,
I thought we were just looking. And like out of nowhere, Mandy's dad was like, yeah, you like this one? Boom.
We're going to buy that trailer.
We're going to buy that one right now.
We bought it that day.
That day?
Yeah. It was
I thought we were just looking.
a 5x10.
Yeah, 5x10. That's the start, yeah.
Shell. No more than 6 feet tall. So you couldn't be 6 foot to work inside.
It was tight for us.
It was pretty small, and we built it out from there. We had to do all of the things involved. It was a shell. So electric, plumbing, all of the details as far as the Department of Agriculture requirements and brewing coffee. How do you brew coffee? How do you brew coffee in a large amount? I mean, a million questions. So we started with coffee. Then I had to find out where to get the coffee from. Where do we buy coffee? Do you just buy it off the shelf? You can't really do that. That's like not that good. So it was a long process. So kind of started building it. That was December, January, February, between painting it, designing it, getting a logo. And then I'm like, okay, well, if this is going to be a real thing, I got to make a business out of this. So I got to get an LLC and a bank account and all the details involved in starting a business that, you know, we could go down that rabbit hole, but I don't think anybody cares quite that much. So,
well, it's a little, real quick, just a quick insert. Yeah. I think it is interesting that you do have a business background without being a business owner.
Sure.
So maybe just like quickly share a little bit of that, because it is interesting, honestly. Like, because I remember when you started all this, I myself was a business owner, am a business owner, and I was like, even to this day, like I'm really impressed about like how you kind of just like do things.
Sure.
And I think the background behind that's kind of interesting.
So yeah, I mean, a short version of my story as far as how I got to Let's Go Coffee. I actually went to college. I grew up in a small town, went to college at Temple University, go Owls, and I studied music therapy. And I was a music therapist. I was certified music therapist. And then I moved to North Carolina for military as a military spouse. And when I moved there, they didn't have any music therapy jobs for me. So I started working at a music store. And then lo and behold, throughout that process, became part of the management team there. So I learned a lot about retail, a lot about display, a lot about how things should look, how things should be clean and neat and organized and simple, labeled properly, all that kind of stuff. And then, after I left that job, I went into music therapy. I did that for a couple of years. I worked in hospice. So I learned how to work with people and how to talk to people at a very sensitive time in their life, and something that was really difficult, and kind of learned about death and dying, which I think really brought a lot of motivation to my life, because nobody ever said that they were sad by not having enough money or not having enough things or objects. It was like time. It was always time. And so that always sat in the back of my mind. Once I had then gone through a divorce that was pretty difficult, and I needed to get on my feet as a single mom. I had a 3-year-old at the time. And so I started working at another job. So I was a music therapist, and I worked for a nonprofit organization actually based out of here in Emmaus as well. And I worked there full time. I became an office manager there. And as an office manager, I was in charge of the financial department. I was in charge of all the administration, all of the legal documents, anything that needed to happen through the state, any kind of like website design and marketing and event planning. And I did kind of everything. And so a little bit of everything. I learned a lot about everything. And the type of person that I am, I think just as a learner, I like to ingest and learn new things. So hence why we're starting a podcast. I just can't really sit still for too long. So I really enjoyed that, and I learned a lot. But I couldn't make the final decision. So I ended up going through a pretty difficult church experience. At the same time I was leaving my last job, kind of simultaneously, I ended up unemployed. And I'm like, I know I can do more than this. I know I can do more than what I'm actually being given. Again, I was still a single mom at the time and going through a pretty difficult situation, working, and then ending up unemployed and kind of just living off of savings. And trying to figure out what was next. So I go into another world. The corporate life wasn't for me. Mind you, in the back of my mind, I'm also thinking about the hospice experience of this is all about time. And I knew that when I worked 9 to 5 in a 9 to 5 job, I didn't have the time that I wanted to be a mom, to be a friend, to do things I wanted. I was very trapped in that 9 to 5 mindset. And that was by choice. There's nothing forced on that. So fast forward, I'm trying to think of what to do. And I'm like, wow, that was a really funny idea. That coffee trailer idea was really funny and kind of quirky. And I kind of got made fun of for it a little bit in loving ways. Like, why would you do that? That's crazy. You can't make any money doing that. And I'm like, you know what? At this point, what do I have to lose? Like, I have nothing else. I'm kind of at rock bottom at this point. Like, there's only ways up. And so my dad was really helpful in convincing me that we're going to do this, and we're going to go and we're going to find a trailer. We're going to build it out and we're going to see what happens. And so that was into the spring of 2023 that I started. So all of my past in business and things that I've learned and kind of collected along my journey through my employment in my adult life, and growing up too, little things here and there. But really those jobs helped mold me into a business mindset type of person. And a lot of really proud things along the way. I think I would say I just worked really hard in the jobs I was given and saw, you know, the music store I was in the red, and they were about to close the doors. And one of my best friends, who became my best friend through the management process, one of them, we turned it into the black. And so we had like a profitable business, and they were like, wow, we were going to shut this store down. And you guys did this. And how did you do it? And we were like, we were just kind. That's all we did. So and worked hard and made sure we followed everything, did the procedures, followed what was asked of us, you know, kept a clean store, all the things. And we're just friendly with people, kind. So anyway, that was a long little.
No, it's good. It's an interesting thing. At least I find it to be really interesting because I didn't, I knew you obviously well, but like I didn't like. It was interesting to watch your past kind of come out in like the current day business, right? So obviously the trailer started.
Yeah,
that was an interesting hurdle that I was.
So you and I ended up how we met. We ended up together around the same time that this was all starting.
Yeah.
And we had met a few years prior to that, but actually being together, it was around the same time as picking up the trailer. So like it was a lot of new things happening in life for me personally at the time. And so it was kind of a whirlwind. But again, when you have no other option, you have to just figure something out and go do it. And I'll build the plane as it's flying kind of thing.
Sink or swim.
Yeah. So we bought the trailer. We had everything finished. And we opened the trailer doors.
Remember the first event?
It was a train wreck, but it was May 7th, Sunday, May 7th of 2023 is when Let's Go Coffee, formerly known as Battleground Coffee Company, that was the original name, launched.
The first transaction.
The first transaction was 7:30 in the morning in almond milk.
No way.
Decaf coffee.
Decaf.
They were like, do you have a decaf coffee? It was 7:30 in the morning on a Sunday. Decaf coffee with almond milk. And I was like, that is not what I expected my first coffee transaction.
Did we even have that?
I don't even know, honestly. So I was like, that is the weirdest first order of this business. And that only got weirder from there, but it was fine. So the first event was a train wreck. There was grounds in the coffee. The coffee pot was leaking all over the ground. The physical floor of the trailer was covered in coffee. There were so many people there cheering me on, and they're really excited. And they're like, we love you. This is going to be so great. And I'm like, this is a disaster. Like, this is so bad. And
it could have been worse, but it was pretty bad.
Yeah, it definitely could have been worse. I had power. I had all the things.
Coffee.
Like, people bought coffee. We had like running water and like all these things, whatever. So it was crazy. So that was, man, what a day.
And I mean, that just led to a lot of different events that we learned a lot at, right?
So we started in May of 2023. And from that, we were through the whole summer. And we did festivals. We did other different events. Pablo helped me with a lot. My dad helped me with a lot. My mom helped me setting stuff up. At the time we started, we did have an espresso machine on the trailer. That was one that you would buy for your house.
That was a mistake.
I don't recommend that. Nope. So we got rid of the espresso machine very quickly when we realized that this is not going to work. So
we dropped it on the parking lot floor one time.
Yeah, we did drop it on the parking lot
at one point. Well, I guess we sold it.
I mean, it still worked when I sold it, so it was fine. Just has a little dent in it. But it was fine. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And so people would come up and they'd be like, yeah, can I get a flat white? And I was like, I have no idea what that is. I can't make that for you. And they're like, can I get this latte? And I'm like, I literally don't know what that is either. Like, what am I doing?
You might as well just go to Starbucks.
I just like coffee. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't.
It was very simple.
Yeah.
Humble beginnings. So you did the trailer.
I did the trailer. So we went through the summer of 2023. Towards the end of the summer into the fall, I got a text message from somebody that we knew. And they said, I have a bakery. I'm looking to sell it. And would you be interested? And I was like, absolutely not. No chance.
That was the exact reaction.
I don't want that responsibility. I don't want that amount of work. I just have a coffee trailer. When I looked at my numbers and when I looked at the bakery numbers, I was like, so how much you want for it at this point? Like, I guess I can combine the two and actually run a successful business. Not that coffee trailers are not successful, but they are very difficult in the lifestyle that we want to live, as far as like being available for my daughter and all the things. Again, going back to that like little time mindset, like it's all about the time that you have and the quality of time that you spend with people around you. I didn't want to work in a job or own a business where I was gone all the time. And trailer events quickly, we realized, became weekends and early mornings. I didn't want to give up my weekends, and I am not a morning person by any means. So I'm like, why did I do this? Honestly, I still have those thoughts. I'm not going to lie. But
I'm a morning person.
Yeah. So we did the best we could. ended up purchasing a bakery in December of 2023. And
this was an already operating business, by the way. And I thought
yeah.
it was really interesting, if I may quickly just say, we went from the trailer life
Yeah.
to now having like a location, which
Right.
is a whole other world.
And the location was in a farmer's market. And so it was limited time,
And it was
limited
also-
hours. And it was only 3 days a week.
And it was an hour
An hour away from our house.
from our house. That's like a really dumb decision looking back on it now.
Yeah.
It was needed to happen, but I'm just saying, like looking,
Yeah.
like putting it on paper, even just talking about it, it's like,
I like cringe thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like, why did we do that? Anyway, so we did. So January, we opened this new bakery. Let's Go Coffee Company became this new spot. We took over a lot of the recipes, changed a lot of things around. What a time. That could be another podcast in itself as well.
honestly, talking through all of this, each of these could be.
Literally, yeah.
But let's continue.
Literally. It was crazy. It was literally insane. And I don't know how to say that any more than literally insane, because it was way more than we ever thought. A lot of work, a lot of cleaning, a lot of rearranging, a lot of reorganizing. So I have no baking background. Zero. Like, I would bake maybe a box mix of blueberry muffins twice a year.
I mean, it's also fair to say, I don't think you have even coffee background.
Don't really have a huge coffee background. I have no baking experience. I am not a cook. I don't even know how to, I don't think I ever actually baked something in my life that didn't come from a box. I don't think I ever did. I didn't even have flour in my house. I didn't know anything about it. So needless to say, we were in a very quick learning curve because I had decided to open this bakery up in January. And I had to learn how to bake quickly because there was not a single other person that knew how to bake. So I did all of the baking myself. I ran the shop 3 days a week. It was 12-hour days.
It was open 3 days a week.
Open 3 days a week.
And you could go in on other days, right?
Yeah, I could go in other days to bake. And it was that 1 hour drive, still one direction. 1 hour. And so I was there, and I had to run that place. So I was given the staff that I was given, and I'm super grateful. I literally would never have survived without the people that were there when I took over. And so they helped us get through all of it. And it was a mere 3 months in, I got very, very sick. Realized that I got really, really sick on the busiest week of the year, one of the two, Christmas and Easter. This was Easter week. And I realized there's just no way I can keep doing this. So I thought about it for a few weeks. In June, I had hired a couple of people to help me bake. It just wasn't working. The distance was too far. The customers were very difficult, I would say. It was just really... I felt like I was trying to run something that wasn't in a community that I knew anybody. I didn't know anything in the area. It was just a different world, honestly. And so I made the decision in June of 2024, 5 months into owning this bakery, that I was closing the doors of it, and that was going to be the end. I was not going to do anymore. Mind you, I had to pay for this bakery still. So I had bills. And so I kind of was in this point in the summer of 2024, which is only less than a year ago, that I was kind of done. I'm like, I can't do this. I'm tired of the trailer. I'm tired of dealing with staff already. I'm tired of scheduling and ordering and inventory and baking. I was so tired of baking. I was like, maybe I'll love doing this eventually. That never happened. Ever.
I think you still hate it.
I still don't like baking. I can do it. I don't mind doing it. I can step in. I'm happy to help. I'll do what I can. But I have done all of this stuff so many times. And I'm like, it's just not my thing. I would rather rearrange a retail rack of reeds and mouthpiece caps than bake while I worked at the music store. And so, yeah, that's where we were.
So
it was a pretty low point in the summer of 2020.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. And I remember it vividly. I remember being a part of all this, going from idea to trailer, from trailer to our location was in Reading, so about an hour away from where we live in the Lehigh Valley, it's called, in this region. And how did we get, which sometimes it's like a blur because it happens so fast, but how
I
did
would say 2 years are a blur.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's so weird because it feels like where we're at now like has been forever, but it's not that at all.
Yeah.
But like, so real quick, if you could just bring us from like that decision to like I'm closing these doors to like now.
Yeah. In June of 2024, I decided I was going to close the place. I'm like, I just can't do this anymore. Everything along the way had to have been God helping me, because there was no chance that any of this would have ever happened if that didn't happen. I'm not going to lie and say that every day was easy. I probably cried every day for weeks.
Yeah.
I would say. I had a friend give me a note, and she basically said, if you close down Let's Go Coffee, I still love you. And that's like where we were at. I was like, I don't know what to do. Do I just go get a normal job and just continue to pay off this loan and it's all over? Do I find another commercial location? Do I continue with the trailer? I'm eating up my weekends and my weekdays and my mornings and all these things. And I'm like, oh, why did I do this? I don't want to do any of this. You know, going back, that little voice in my head that still is there. It's all about time and quality of time with your family. And when you step into business ownership, I think you have that dream. I did, of having freedom, but from here to there's like zero freedom, honestly. So anyway, I kind of didn't really know what to do. We ended up looking at another commercial location, went through meetings. That was one of the times I was looked at as a female business owner, as I wasn't good enough. And that was one of many times that's happened. That's another podcast in itself too, probably. But it just didn't pan out. It just didn't work. So I just was like, all right, well, I guess we're not going to find a spot. And I think we both decided, I said, you kind of gave me the decision. You're like, you can definitely close your doors and be done with all this, or you can keep going. And I'm like, all right. So I randomly Googled one day commercial spaces available. And where we're sitting was the only place available that was within our budget.
The only one?
The only one.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
And so we reached out to the realtor that was dealing with this space, and
I remember we came to look at it first.
We did come to look at it. Yeah. And we looked in the door. You don't know how big this space is until you walk inside the doors.
Right.
So from the outside, it looks like a little place, but when you walk in, you're like, wow, this place is actually really big.
That's right.
So we kind of did the look thing. We had a trailer event here in town, and we ended up meeting with the landlord of this location that same day. And I left and I was like, that's where it's going to be. It's either going to be there or it's done.
Did you know that you felt it?
It was one of two things. It was either we're going to make this happen or it's over. I'm not going to keep looking. I'm not going to keep going around and around with people and owners of different buildings, and just like so many pieces to it that, it's just, there's so much more involved than people ever realize. So, it ended up working out. And I called the borough. I said, I want to put a coffee shop in here. This is my plan. This is what I want to do. Can I do it? And they're like, yep, it's zoned for all of that. You can. And that process, that one little simple question I was looking for, took a month to get there. Once we got there, then it was like, hit the ground running. And we were here every single day from 8 a.m., 8:30, 9 o'clock if I took my kid to school. And then we left here at 6 or 7:30 at night.
Lease signed in October, signed
the lease that I was going to renovate this space and open Let's Go Coffee here on October 15th, 2024. We opened our doors on December 6th.
Full renovation. So for those that don't know, this was a gun shop.
It was a gun shop. Yep.
Owned by our landlord, who still is. And this was a gun shop for 27 years.
Yeah.
Almost 30 years.
Every single square inch of this place was repainted. The floors were redone. The plumbing was fixed for a coffee shop from, just like normal bathroom employee sink kind of for the gun shop. Like there was no commercial level plumbing.
Different
they
business.
Didn't need it. It was different business. Yeah. So all of the plumbing was done. A huge amount of electric work was done to bring in these big ovens that are 500 pounds each oven the
fact that the ovens made it in is probably the biggest miracle out of this whole thing.
It's one of them. The electrician.
The electrician.
Yeah, that was a huge piece.
Oh my gosh.
So there's so many elements of this shop that were put together for the fact that we signed a lease on October 15th and we opened our doors on December 6th. And I closed my doors at the other location at the end of August. So it was really only 3 full months of covering bills with not having a location open. And we had packed our time with trailer events. So we were able to make that happen. I don't know how, but we did. And so that's kind of the story. Then when you open your doors, December 6th, which was my brother's birthday, which is why I'll never forget it. So we opened our doors the day before the tree lighting of 3,500 people in the town at the top of the steps to our coffee shop. 3,500 people came the next day.
Insanity.
So we, and in that process, I hired staff, I wrote SOPs, I wrote an employee handbook, we had staff meetings, we did trainings, we built out this whole space, we renovated everything, we decorated everything, we painted everything, we had murals done, we had coffee, we had
couches
so
delivered.
many elements, couches delivered, rugs, tables, Facebook Marketplace exchanges, cases, things that we needed, refrigeration things, everything you can think of that would go into here. And there's things that you will never think of that needed to happen in order for this to happen. And so here we are. We opened about 4 months ago.
It really takes a village, right? I mean, huge team.
Yeah.
There's it's like every, the flooring guys, the interior design team, the staff. I mean, our staff. Like, can you
even the
imagine?
countertops? People had to come in and measure countertops and order countertops. And for whatever reason, the railings were one of the biggest holdups for us. And we met somebody so gracious enough to make railings within 3-day notice, basically made railings for us in that time period.
Yeah.
The toilet that had to have the flusher on the correct side, and the sink, and the grab bars, and the half walls that were up, and the paint, and the sanding, the amount of sanding, and the amount of dust in this place. The amount of dust.
Dude, I walked out of here looking like I was a silver fox for
crazy
weeks.
Crazy. I was like, how's anybody ever going to eat in here? There's so much dust.
I know.
So crazy. We did everything we could to clean it all up. So,
right.
But honestly, I really don't know how we did it. I really don't know. I couldn't tell you. But I would say that it is all hard work. Like there was no time for rest. I would say there's no time for second guessing, but I think I second guessed it every single day for months of like, why are we doing this? What are we doing? Is this going to survive? Are we going to make money here? Are we going to have a successful business? Is my staff going to like me? Is my staff going to like us? Are they going to want to work? Are they going to be like, are they going to all quit on me? I mean, all these things, like you have a million questions in your mind, let alone like the financial side of everything, and let alone like running a business and running social media and like doing every single piece of a business. It is not easy, for sure.
I'm grateful that we're here because it's actually, and it's like a whole full circle thing. I mean, Mandy and I both lived in Emmaus for years. And
it's a great town.
It's a great town. Called this place home. So it's not like we just kind of came in here and we're like, oh, new town, new opportunity. It's like, no, I used to walk these sidewalks with my dog for years. And like, I never, ever, I talk to people all the time. We have people come in, regulars now, which is like the weirdest thing. We're 4 months in, we got regulars. Like, what the heck? But
we had regulars before Christmas.
I know.
Let's be honest, actually.
And it's only gotten worse in a good way, right? But, people come in and they're just like, oh my gosh, thanks so much, and I'm like, both of us kind of always chuckle because we're like, we're just like you. We're a townie, like we're from here.
Yeah.
We love this place, and like we're just grateful that it worked out. Like if this place was here and we didn't own it, I think we'd be pumped that it was here.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
We're just like happy that it worked out. Like the loans worked out, the numbers worked out, the timing worked out, like the team, people, the staff, it all worked out, and is working out. Like it's just a cool. I don't know. I'm like really grateful to be a part of it.
Yeah,
it's a really, really cool place.
One of our part of our story from Emmaus is we left Emmaus not on really good terms with a lot of people. And it was just a really kind of painful decision and just a difficult time in our life. And then coming back and planting a business here is like a whole other level of accomplishment, I think, for the two of us, and something neither one of us ever expected to happen. And so that's been really cool to be here and be like, we actually genuinely love this town, and we always did.
Yeah.
And so I think
it was sad to leave, honestly.
It was really sad to leave.
It almost like fleed in a way.
Yeah. Given the circumstances at the time.
Right. Which,
so then like we left and we're like, I'm sorry, we love that town and we'll probably never go back.
Literally.
And here we are.
And we're back. Like,
and we like own a business in the town.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's crazy. So,
with all that said, and I mean, we gave you as many details as possible. We also probably brushed over a million of them because there's so much to it. But the general gist is that is how Let's Go Coffee kind of began. Yeah. It is what it is. I guess the ultimate question now, before we kind of close things up a little bit, I had it on my notes here, is kind of like where is like, for kind of like a two-part question. Number one, like, what is Let's Go Coffee? Just kind of, what it's become, what it is, the culture, what we offer, just in general for people listening, like what, in your words, like what is it? And then where is it going? Where is it headed?
Yeah.
First of all, the train.
Here comes the train.
If you can't hear the train on the mics.
Yeah. The train is about 10 feet behind our building.
Yeah. Like really close.
But Let's Go Coffee is in the basement of the building. So the really hard, heavy, like concrete foundation keeps it pretty muffled.
Yeah. We feel the rumble though.
Yeah, for sure. Let's Go Coffee. So it started out as Battleground Coffee. A couple of reasons behind that name. Now, I liked it at the time, but we realized there was a trademark thing that we didn't want to step into. So I had to come up with another reason. And another name, yeah. And the name Let's Go came from, first of all, I say it all the time. I feel like I catch myself saying it all the time.
We all say it. Let's go.
Yeah. Come on, let's go. Like this.
Or just like, let's go. Let's go. Like when people were like pumped about
excited.
Something.
I don't think I ever say it in that regard.
I do.
Yeah. But like,
that's like
I
my
always
favorite
say,
text.
come on, let's go. Let's go do that. Let's go try this. Cause I love adventure. I love different things. I love traveling. I love learning new things. It's just my personality. And so I say it all the time.
Right.
But Let's Go Coffee Company really is rooted in having the spirit of adventure and kind of saying yes to something. Like, let's go do that. Let's try something new. Let's go here. So I always feel like when people actually talk about us, they're like, let's go. That's such a weird statement, but the heart behind it is such a place of adventure. And what we try to do with our decorations and the place and even our staff, our mug wall that we have, like we want people to travel the world. So we want to bring the world into this little spot in Emmaus. And I mean, that's what we do. Like, that's all I want to do. And it all goes back to working in hospice and what people told me, what people dying on their deathbeds told me, that they wanted to spend more time. They wish they had more time. It was never, I wish I had more money. I wish I had better cars. I wish I had more expensive clothes or designer purses. And not that any of that is bad. It's fine if you like that. But it was always, I wish I had more time with my family. I wish I didn't work as much. I wish I spent more time with my kids or my grandkids or whatever that was. And so, let's do that. Let's spend time together. So that's kind of where the name originated from in that way. And then as far as the actual location, I just want this to be a space for community, a place for people to meet, a place for, people to be able to sit down and have person-to-person interactions. Social media and the world these days, everybody is so anti-talking. I don't know how to say that. They don't talk to each other. They just like scroll phones, and we're all guilty of that. I do it too. So I just want it to be a space where people meet. And even now we've been open for 4 months, and we've had first dates. We've had job interviews. We've had pregnancy announcements. We've had, like, not me, other people.
Old friends.
Old friends have come in. New friends have come in. We've seen meetings of people, whether that's like a group of runners or bikers or a group of ladies together, two moms getting together. Like, we have so many different ways people come here and work and they do things. And it's such a wide variety of why someone walks in those doors. And I think that just kind of really is an example of the world coming into this small space. A lot of different backgrounds, a lot of different people. And so I love that. I love that about Let's Go. What actually is the coffee shop? So what we offer here, we do have traditional coffee sizes. We have espresso drinks, some teas, and then we do like your traditional chais and matchas, and then all of the traditional espresso drinks. So anything from an espresso shot to a tiny macchiato to a latte. And we do iced coffee, and we do hot coffee. We have a hot coffee bar, so you can pick and choose what your hot coffee is that you want. And then we have, hot tea and things like that. As far as our baked goods, we do have a certified gluten-free bakery. Again, that's probably another podcast in itself, which will probably be a few of them. Like, what does it mean to be gluten-free and all the things. But we have a certified gluten-free bakery. We bake everything from scratch here in our location, down to the icings. Nothing is bought, pre-made, nothing is frozen, and nothing is has any kind of like preservatives or anything like that. It is all fresh baked here almost every day. Every day there's a baker here. And so we have those two things available. So anybody in the gluten-free community and anybody that really loves coffee and wants to be in the coffee world here. So that is Let's Go Coffee. The future of Let's Go Coffee. Is that part two?
Yeah. I think people would be curious, like just from your standpoint of as the owner, like where you see it going and what you think this could become, and like even like where this podcast might end up, just like, I don't know, just from your perspective, like where Let's Go is headed.
It's a good question. I wouldn't say no or never to anything. But right now, the future of Let's Go, I don't have plans to expand. I don't want to go into roasting. I don't want to go into like shipping order, big production of things. I kind of want to just keep it as it is. It's its own niche. It's its own entity. It has its own personality. And I would want to keep Let's Go as it is. For me personally, I have very different plans as a business owner and as a female business owner, and just through my experiences, my story, and things that I've been through, that I do have different plans for myself personally. So this is part of my life, but it is not my whole life. And so we'll see what happens. As far as Let's Go, we do have events that happen here. We do rent the space out to people that need to have meetings or anything like that. We do host our own events. We also host other people's events if they need to, like other businesses. We're doing open mic nights. We have a board game shop a couple doors down, a board game night with them. We have like a make your own perfume night with a local business owner that does perfumes and candles and things like that. So we have options and opportunity. But as far as like expansion, I don't really have plans for that. But never say never, because I never thought I'd own a bakery either. So, and here we are. So I'm kind of just taking it as it goes, one day at a time, and we'll see what happens.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have also been equally excited in this area. People who come in, regulars, new people. It's been really, really cool to see. I think our staff is super excited about what this is, what it's becoming, the future of it. So I'm really grateful that I get to play a part in it too. Mandy is the owner, but I help in any way that I can. I love helping. I love people. I love the staff, and I'm just excited to see where it goes. And even with this podcast, like where this may go too, and the community that can be built from it as well.
Yeah. I mean, the goal for the podcast really is to share more of who we are. And we often say, you know, people come in, they recognize you, or they'll say like, oh, I know you from social media, or, oh, you're the owner, you're the owner's husband, or something. Like they kind of know that and they get really excited about that. But at the end of the day, we are just people. We have lives, and we have difficult parts of life, and we have great parts of life, and we have we have staff members who have a life. Like they're human beings that live this life. We're all real people. We all do real people things, and we live a life. And like I said, like this is not my whole life. There's a lot of elements to me as a person, not just Let's Go. We just want to use this as a way to share more about our coffee shop and our gluten-free bakery, who we are as people, encourage the community, bring people together. I like to think of us as professional community builders. So if we can create a Let's Go online community, and then we have our community here in the shop, like that's kind of what the goal is, I would say. It
is kind of funny too. Like now that we're talking more about it, it's like people kind of come in and they're like, how'd you get into coffee? Are you gluten-free? Like they ask all these really, really funny questions. And I'm like, and both of us are kind of like,
No,
like we're just like business owners. Like I have my own content creation company.
Yeah.
We'll probably get into that later at a later date, but like, a lot of the social media that happens, our staff creates a lot of it with their cell phones. You create a lot of it with your cell phone, but there's some professional stuff that I do with my company, and I love helping in that way. And I love doing the social media thing. But it's interesting because like that's my gig. That's what I do.
Yeah.
It's my day job, so to speak. You do this.
Yeah.
But like both of us are kind of like coffee. We love it, but it's not like our thing.
Yeah.
Gluten-free, we now love it.
Yeah.
But it's not really our thing.
Yeah.
Even sweets to some degree is not really our thing. We're more
Hand
like
me a big chocolate cupcake and I'll be like, nah, next. Hand me a big bowl of ice cream and I'm...
Which we have affogatos
amazing.
here. Fun fact.
We
So,
do,
you know,
yeah.
it is interesting. I just think it's interesting that we are both business owners first.
Yeah.
Coffee shop owners, so to speak,
Yeah.
secondary, or bakery
Yeah.
owner secondary. It's kind of like we want to create like a really cool culture, which I think is happening. It's in
Yeah.
process, and not just for staff and not just for customers. Like obviously the vibe is good, you know, here, but like even for like the staff, the back end stuff, you're huge with numbers and like making sure things are done correctly. You're very punctual. And like
For
a lot
the
of
most
business
part.
owners
Don't get too over.
No, I know. But, you know, there's a lot of business owners that get into what they get into because they love that thing.
Yeah.
And we are kind of funny in the sense that we do love it. It's not that we don't. It's just that it's not like our thing. I think being a community builder, I kind of like the way you said that. Like that's kind of more our focus.
Yeah.
And it's just been fun to watch that like unfold.
Yeah, if we can give back to the community. So if that means just because we're not gluten-free doesn't mean we can't give to a gluten-free community.
Right.
If just because we're not maybe professionals in the science and the meticulous details behind coffee and the flavor notes and profiles and all this, like we can definitely taste a bad coffee at this point, and we can definitely taste a good one. And for us, like our motto is experience. Like it's all about building the experience. It's all about community. So if we can give to the gluten-free community by serving great gluten-free baked goods, even though we're not gluten-free, why wouldn't you do that? If we could serve coffee to a community in Emmaus here that really needs a good coffee shop, why not do that? And that doesn't mean that we're not qualified by any means. And then, you know, we want people to walk in and be greeted. We want people to walk in and feel like, wow, this is a really cool place to be. And feel comfortable, whether that's talking to our baristas or talking to us or talking to each other or just sitting and reading a book, whatever that may be. We just want to provide a community, a space for community and a space for people to be a third place, as we call it.
A third place, not home, not work.
A third place.
Not the bar.
Yeah.
This is a chill vibe.
Not anymore. We're in our 30s. So.
Yeah. We got stuff to do. Responsibilities. With that all said,
Yes.
to close things out, where can people find us? Where can people go to? Websites, social media platforms? Where?
Yep.
Well, how's that all work?
So you can find us physically at 358 Main Street in Emmaus, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, you can.
That's where our physical brick and mortar location is. We are on social media. We are on Facebook and Instagram at Let's Go Coffee Co. At Let's Go Coffee Co. You can follow us on there, and you can also find our website, Let's Go Coffee Co. There goes the train again for anybody that didn't hear.
I don't know if they can hear it. Maybe.
You
will if you come in here.
Yeah. Let's go coffeeco.com. Let's go coffeeco.com. That is our website. So that will have any inquiry forms on there if you want pre-order baked goods, if you want trailer event, if you want just to contact us regarding anything, you can submit through the website there. And that's pretty much it. I'm not giving my personal phone number out. So
no, ma'am. Any final thoughts? Did we miss anything?
I don't think so. I'm super grateful. We'll see where the podcast goes. It's going to be fun. We'll learn a lot. We'll kind of hang out together and
Let's Go Coffee Podcast. Well, Let's Go Podcast. Is that the name of it? Let's Go Podcast.
Yeah.
Something like that. Episode 1 is now complete.
In the books.
And join us for episode 2. It's coming up.
Yeah.
See ya.
See ya.